An idea that I wanted to talk about is, I guess, in a sense, the future. Our vision, our way to almost like perceive the future and look at the future. That it seems like because we have such a, how do I put it, such a slippery grasp on the future and in a really big extent in the past. Um, when we look at who we're going to become or when we look at who we're going to be, it becomes really difficult, or it seems difficult, um, to visualize our lives being somewhere very different than where we are today. And where I'm kind of going with this is that oftentimes we define our future, we define who we're going to be, we define what people are going to think about us by the floor or the rocks or the sand in which we are standing today. But if we look on our lives, no matter really like how young you are or how old you are, you will notice that you've been to many different places. You've stood in many different situations, and the things that you're doing today are things that at some point during that journey you learned, right? So even if you are an expert on something right now, that doesn't mean that you need to be an expert on that for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that if there's a job that you've been doing for a while and you're pretty good at it, that you need to continue doing that job, that you need to continue developing that skill, because there's an infinity other skills out there. And even more interestingly, there's an infinity other skills that exist in the sort of like the tangent or the periphery of the things that you're probably already doing. That if you are making pies and you, for some part of your life, you absolutely love making them, and now you absolutely despise the idea of pies, you can still go into other things that would go along that line, of other things that you could bake, of other things that you could create, of other foods that you can put together that will bring you excitement. And so this all ties with an idea that I want to develop on this show later, which is the idea that as we're born and then we go through life, for every step we take, we start to develop this kind of like image of ourselves that was not there from the start, right? So the way in which we look at ourselves today is not the way in which we were born. It's the way that it's kind of like this image that we have created. It's a persona or a character, similar to like a movie or a play, that based on certain actions that we've taken or the way in which certain things have played out, we have created an image of who we think we are and who other people think we are and all these things, and we've stitched that to ourselves and we've become that. But that image is very, very malleable. It is in the same way that we put that image together, we can take things out of that image and add new ones to it. We can erase certain parts of it and then add something else in that slot that fits us better. And so, all in all, if there are things about where you are today that seem to not resonate with you, or it seem like they're not working out for you now, but maybe they worked out in the past, or maybe they've never really worked out for you, I think it's good practice to take some time for yourself and to kind of like identify those things and pay some attention to them and understand that you always have the capability to change them, to adjust those things, to maybe completely remove some of them. That maybe there are some that seem insurmountably difficult to overcome or to beat or to defeat or to avoid. But I think the moment we say, hey, you know what, this is not the direction that I want to go, or this is not working out for me, I want to go into a better space, and you trust yourself that you can find that. It might be immediate or it might take some time, but I do think when you put yourself in that space, what you're looking for ends up finding you. That I think one of the almost like fundamental truths about this life is that in many ways what you're seeking is seeking you. So when you're looking to move in a direction that is more true to you, and you're making that effort known to yourself, I think there's something that happens in your mind in which your mind is like, okay, let's go to work. Let's figure out in this library that we have in our heads what are ways in which we can like kind of like move this around. And people will come and they will kind of like bump into the topic somehow without you even mentioning to them, and things will just kind of like happen to help nudge you in a direction that is more true to you. But it is completely your choice how you approach it. And maybe you go in a direction that seems interesting, and then maybe it doesn't play out, but at least now you know, okay, this works and this doesn't work, and then you can keep adjusting. That I think in many ways, and I've seen it for sure on myself, that I think this practice of working and developing who we are, and maybe like evolving ourselves or growing ourselves, is almost like an endless practice. That there's always things change, you know, and even though tomorrow we might be in a position where we're really proud or feel really good about it, maybe in a few months from then, we won't feel that anymore. And I think the more we open ourselves to be kind of like malleable, to be who it is that we truly want to be, the more we have the ability to kind of like adjust to what we have in front of us, and the things that we want to have in front of us, and the things that we want to be doing. So all in all, tying it all together, whoever it is that you are today, whoever it is that you were yesterday, whoever it is that you were a month from now, a month ago, or whatever it is that you did in your past, none of that needs to define who it is that you're going to be and how far it is that you can go.